Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Tennessee coming off a big couple of weeks of recruiting, adding commitments from four-star interior offensive lineman Nick Moore. Also got a big-time surprise commitment from Douglas Utu, a four-star offensive lineman, just outside the top 50 overall. We're seeing a little boost on the ratings for Tennessee, just outside the top 10, coming in at 12th according to the On3 industry rankings. You also got some big-time commitments on the defensive line, four-star defensive lineman Charles House. Then you got another big surprise on June the 28th when four-star edge rusher Marion Dye made it official. He chose Tennessee. You also added Trey Poteet. Now, we missed out on the most recent one, right? Missed out on Deshaun Brame over the weekend, but had some interesting conversation throughout that live commitment stream talking about evaluations and NIL and priorities and how it's really kind of like a salary cap when you look at NIL. You've only got so much money to spend, and this coaching staff really likes where they're at the tight end position on the current roster, also in the class of 25 with a commitment from Jack Van Dorsay. And then you look ahead to the class of 26. They're in on some big-time prospects there, so they weren't going to overspend when it came down to Deshaun Brame. And it sounds like Oregon put together a pretty dang good offer. And look, he liked Oregon, right? Oregon was always the team to beat, but it sounds like Tennessee wasn't going to overpay for him. And you gotta understand that. You gotta respect that. And sometimes we as fans say, oh, well, it was just about money. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. We talked a lot about evaluations, too, over the last couple of weeks. Good conversations. We look at the wide receiver position as we look ahead. Who's next on the decision timeline for the Tennessee Volunteers? And when we go look at wide receiver, look at four-star wide receiver Darius Jackson already in the boat. Tennessee took a commitment from three-star in-state prospect Joakim Dotson. Now, look who they passed on, right? They've passed on in-state four-star wide receiver Cam Sparks. They told four-star wide receiver Derek Meadows not to visit. They told four-star Marcus Harris, look, it's a timing thing. It's a numbers thing. Kind of moved on from him. And why is that? That's because they made a priority out of four-star wide receiver Travis Smith. He's put out this on Twitter just recently. The decision is coming soon. He's going to come off the board on July the 13th. You can see there his top four of Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. But I think it's interesting conversation when you look at the evaluations and when you look at making guys a priority. Does that pay off for Tennessee here with the four-star wide receiver? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. But as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Smash the thumbs up. It is quick, free, and easy, and it helps this channel, and I would appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not reporters. We're not journalists. We don't pretend to be any of that. This is all about doing what fans do, talking about the news, speculating on the rumors. Fan is short for fanatic. So if you like that, it's for the fans, by the fans. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Right now, I'm live every Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, playing NCAA football, but talking all things Tennessee football. Hopefully got some Wednesday shows coming up for you soon. And then, as always, we will cover as many live commitments as we can. But let's jump into the one that's scheduled to be coming up next. Again, four-star wide receiver Travis Smith, 6'3", 200 pounds, out of Atlanta, Georgia, 75th overall player in the country. And again, the evaluations, making this guy a priority, some of the guys that Tennessee passed on, does that ultimately help them land Travis Smith? But you talk about needle movers, guys that are going to boost you up the ranking system. And don't get it twisted. I would have loved to have Deshaun Brame. He was just inside the top 100. That's a guy that would have moved the needle. But we got guys coming up like Onis Conanbanny, right? He's a guy that committed on the live stream. Shady Hayward ranked 116th nationally. Of course, Travis Smith here ranked 75th nationally. David Sanders, second nationally. Tennessee trying to flip Jaden Perlotti. He's 135th nationally. I think there's a lot of guys still on the board for Tennessee that are going to give them the opportunity to move inside that top 10, possibly near that top 5 class. We'll see where it ends up. But let's take a look at the scouting report. And I'm going to let you guys watch some tape here. You guys let me know what you think of Travis Smith, what you think of his game. Would you have prioritized him over some of the other wide receivers on the board? Because I think from day one, most of us would have said, we'll take Cam Sparks. He's a 4-star wide receiver. He's an in-state kid. Why wouldn't we taken. But again, this coaching staff, their evaluations are more important than what On3 says, 247 Sports says. It's more important than what the Georgia coaching staff is doing. It's more important than what the Alabama coaching staff is doing. It is important for Josh Heupel and his coaching staff to nail their evaluations. Scouting report from Hudson Standish, 247 Sports national analyst. He says prototypical outside wide receiver build, measuring 6'4", 200 pounds on multiple occasions with a plus wingspan. Goes on to say he has proven to be a matchup nightmare on the outside on Friday nights in combine settings against top-tier defensive backs, as he can climb the ladder in contested catch scenarios or attack all areas of the field with the expanded route tree. Says he does not possess elite top-end gear to separate from quicker defensive backs, because he has a knack for separating late while tracking the ball in the air. Goes on to say here, crafty route runner at all three levels, who can sink his hips with ease or use subtle head and body movements to cause defenders to guess incorrectly. At this stage of the evaluation process, Smith profiles as one of the higher floor wideouts in the country and one of the better pass catchers from the Deep South. Says he has a chance to contribute immediately at the Power 4 level, but must continue to work on separating earlier in his routes to realize long-term NFL draft upside. And again, you look at the size, you hear that scouting report, the first thing I think is a Cedric Tillman, right? A Brew McCoy. Doesn't have that elite speed to beat defenders that way, but he's got that go up, make a play type of athleticism, and I like that. That's what Josh Heupel's looking for, right? We kind of see the different skill sets amongst the wide receivers on this current roster, and when you look at the guys that this coaching staff is recruiting. So where is he with this decision as he's nearing that coming up on July the 13th? Is it Tennessee and Georgia? Is it Tennessee and Alabama? Going into his official visits, it was all about whether or not Tennessee could pull him out of the state of Georgia. Again, Atlanta, Georgia, hometown kid. Could Tennessee get him out of the state? VolQuest even put out, going into that visit, they said he's going through some of the things Mike Matthews went through that last year. So you would expect Mike Matthews to be used as part of his official visit, likely as the host. Chad Simmons going into the official visit to Tennessee. He said Smith was at Alabama last weekend, and the Crimson Tide are in his top three, but the top two are still Georgia and Tennessee. With a strong visit weekend, things could start to trend towards the Vols. So how did that visit go? I don't know if any of you watched the interviews that VolQuest puts out with the prospects after their visits. He was all smiles. He was all Vol. The report that AP put out says the Vols left a big impression on Travis Smith, and depending on who you speak with, the Vols competition varies. This is where it gets interesting, man. I'm going, is it Tennessee, Bama? Is it Tennessee, Georgia? Said he told us that it was Georgia leaving the visit, but a few other people have insinuated that it's truly Alabama. Either way, Tennessee is the common denominator heading into that July the 13th decision. Now, why would it be Tennessee, Alabama when it's been all Tennessee, Georgia? This is something that talked about with Coach Rice on the live stream Saturday afternoon. Said Georgia already has 5 wide receivers committed in their class. By the way, they've got 4 wide receivers committed in the class. One of those wide receivers is a 3-star. Does that make Georgia 3-star U, or does that mean that Kirby Smart and his coaching staff trust their evaluations and they're going to take the guys they believe will make their football team better? So please continue with the 3-star U. But the question, when you've got 4 guys in the boat, would Georgia be willing to take another wide receiver? Again, I go back to Tennessee's evaluations and the fact that they took a commitment from Joakim Dotson, but they passed on a guy like Cam Sparks. Derek Meadows told him not to visit. Marcus Harris, it's a numbers thing. They narrowed it down. They made Travis Smith their priority. This comes from a 24/7 Sports article. Says even before Smith's official visit to Tennessee, there was reason to believe the Vols ultimately might land him. Georgia is still involved with other wide receivers, while Tennessee has continued to make Smith one of its top priorities at the position. Said sources indicated that the Vols were already more of a threat to the Bulldogs than his current 247 Sports crystal ball predictions might have suggested. Alabama is still in the picture too, according to sources, but Tennessee currently appears to be in good shape with one of the top wide receiver targets entering the stretch run of his recruitment. So again, Tennessee's had a lot of momentum the last couple of weeks. Can they continue that momentum going into a dead period? No conversations allowed between the coaches and the prospects, but Travis Smith scheduled to come off the board on July the 13th. We'll have it all covered for you right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network, for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. We would greatly appreciate it. Go check out the merchandise. Go check out brand new Talkin VAWLS merchandise. If you like the recruiting shows, we've dropped a brand new Cruton shirt. Cruton, with Boogie and the coaches. You can get it bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Also, if you're lurking in the chat or in the comments, you're hanging out watching Talkin VAWLS, but you never interact, we got a shirt for you. You love Talkin VAWLS, but you never jump in the chat. Here's your merch. It is a lurker shirt. Again, you can go get all the Talkin VAWLS merch at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Knoxville themed checkerboard shirt, Cultivate shirt, Talkin VAWLS letters, cult member, FUGA, Gator hater, Buck Fama. It is all right there. The links are all in the description below. Also, a link to become a member of the channel. You guys that support us, that have a power T in your beside your name in the chat or the comments, we appreciate that. This channel does not exist without you. So we appreciate the support. You can get in with that for just $1 a month. But if not, smash the thumbs up. That's quick, free, and easy. Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it, because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.